Just started.
Awesome. Well, hello guys. How are you? Welcome to a new community call. This is uh, May 24, 2023. So happy to be with you again. I think we can maybe do some warm up with some reporting from the Montenegro conference. I see Juan here and Jamila. Maybe, yeah, you can tell us a bit how things are going in Montenegro. And Jamila had a talk there. Yeah, I will let you maybe start, guys.
Yeah, so hey everyone, I'm on the computer, so maybe my mic is not the best, but we were in the conf in EdCon. We were also 1 hour ago from 1 hour far away from Podgorica, that was where EdCon took place, was Susalu, this community event or program in which Vitalik and other people were spent 2 months together, and there was a general vibe, like very aligned with the Ethereum community values. Like it was pretty awesome. Like in the many projects oriented to account abstraction, and you know that in Kleros we have posted a couple of weeks ago an article regarding social recovery, and so much funds invested in account abstraction wallets. And then there was a lot of focus on CK. That is also one of the topics that was in trend in Susalu. And we were there, many people interested on Kleros. Jamila spoke in the last day. He mentioned a little bit about different how Kleros could be used in DAOs, and maybe she can mention more about it. But in summary, it was a great conference, like with a lot of interesting people, and I think this Susalu and community events will repeat in other parts of the world. So a great experience.
Yeah, I can only add that it was to connect with so many people from the space, and to me, Susalu was great. Just to meet like builders, researchers, people are passionate about decentralized justice, and so many different projects, so many people familiar with Kleros, of course, and to meet new people who aren't that closely following decentralized dispute resolution. And then the EdCon also took place, and it was good. It lasted 4 days. It was interesting because there were, again, just familiar faces from Susalu, I guess. And there was a lot of dedicated on discussions of coordination, network states, and etc. And just in general, I think one whole day was dedicated to ZK solutions, and the last day where I also gave a talk was more on DAO governance, challenges and solutions. And I enjoyed it. It was great experience and great meeting Juan in person as well.
Awesome, thank you. I think Balashis was at the conference.
At EdCon, he was giving a talk, but it was online, so he wasn't physically there.
Okay, because I saw, so Primavera was there. I was wondering if they had the chance to actually meet and discuss, because I mean,
it was actually very funny.
That would be interesting.
His talk, he gave a talk maybe I don't know, at 10 in the morning, and then she gave her talk shortly after. And I was actually very curious, but no, he wasn't there in person. Although otherwise it was good. I mean, his talk wasn't necessarily on network stage, more of it was quite short, and he was answering just some Q&As mostly.
Okay, I mean, I would like to see someday maybe some debate between them. I mean, Primavera is quite opposed to the idea of network states. So yeah,
she is opposed to the idea of network states. How Balaji is defining them, not to the network states in general. I think this is she has a problem with the way Balaji expresses his view of that. I'd say. So they probably are, they're speaking about similar terms, but just different definitions, because she's more towards like coordination. And I mean, anyone who's interested, I'm pretty sure her and his EdCon talks will be recorded, so you'll be able to watch them.
Yeah, I will. Well, I haven't watched any talk, so I will. Discuss this with her. Cool. Well, thank you, Jamila. It was awesome that you got to be there. Other things going on. So this week, I was mostly about VIA. We have been finishing the materials, like for the launch, blog post, video, documentation. As you know, VIA is an important part of the roadmap to V2, so it's a precondition. And so everything is almost ready, I'd say. I don't know if we can say the day of the launch, the idea we have for the event, Jean, or should we maybe not say, or Shotaro maybe, I don't know, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, we're making preparations. We basically plan to do a progressive launch. So we have sort of two types of test nets. One is a dev net. So what's the distinction of two different test nets? Well, one is for developers to test integrating their contracts with VEA without experiencing any negative latency. So VEA is a permissionless system, which means that usually your messages will be fast. Sometimes they will be slowed down. It could happen. So there's full test nets that we will launch later. It will be fully permissionless. And so in order to get to that milestone, we need to have robust system of bots and many people running bots to watch for fraud and different implementations. And in fact, we will probably have a bounty for someone outside of the team to make an implementation of a watcher node that's just looking at sending and receiving chain pairs and looking for fraud. So maybe someone in this call is interested in something like that. But yes, so we're pretty much on track for the DevNet release soon. Like we have discussed sometime next week, or two, something like that. And we have like a demo DApp, just something very simple for people to see how it works. And yeah, lots of documentation to write. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. So super excited about that. So it's quite hectic this week. And last one with the preparations, so everything seems to be on track. And now, did we record the explainer video already? It's done, right?
So not yet.
In progress.
In progress. So the best resource video explainer is going to be the ETH Taipei talk. What we're working on is basically a workshop and a quick start tutorial. So I'm going to work on more documentation in a quick start tutorial, and the idea is that JB and I will record a video basically going through the quick start tutorial, how to get started with VEA. Yeah, so we'll in progress.
Cool, awesome. And then there's other things around the VEA launch regarding like PR and speaking to different media. So yeah, so that's also in progress. So we plan, to do this launch next week. There you go. I said it. I don't want to say the exact moment yet, but it's yeah, we want to do this next week. Everything seems to be on track for that, so that's super exciting. So last week we already had a very comprehensive update about the V2 that JB did. So if you have questions about V2, I mean, I would recommend that you just listen to the recording of last week because that addresses everything. We understand that we maybe in the past we didn't communicate as often as we wanted or we should have the progress of V2. So we are now kind of trying to put in place some improvements in the communications flow from our dev team to the comms team, so we can have better flow of regular updates. I mean, instead of doing like one big chunk of an update like we did last week and then a community call, do like a more steady flow, you know, of smaller updates. So yeah, you get, I mean, more regular situation of how everything is going. Yeah, so that is also currently underway. We had a workshop today with the team, with the communication team, to better improve and put some grease, let's say, into this process. So yeah, that's also in progress. Okay, let's go to everybody's favorite part of the show, the Williams segment. Go ahead, William.
Sure. So we have some like news on parameters. There's a proposal on the forum that's been there for over a week now, I think, where Green proposed to update the parameters for the mainnet ports because of the high and fluctuating gas prices. I responded, you know, like with like yet another set of parameters generated by the calculator based on the somewhat lower but still fluctuating gas prices we're currently seeing. I encourage people to check that out. It's probably ready to go to a vote soon. I may make like a separate proposal that just cuts off like the more recent parameters that I propose, so it's like clear what people are voting on. But like that's a thing. I encourage people to look at it. Clement had some interesting ideas about how to model juror behavior based on like inspired by machine learning, where you consider like jurors as like different sort of statistical estimators, and then you have, you know, when you like have like a court where you like have a panel of jurors and you put them together, like, you know, that's kind of like bootstrapping with like having like different estimators you put together. So that's something that may appear in a blog article someday, if you're interested in like how you can like bring inspiration from machine learning to thinking about modeling Kleros jurors. I have a blog article that I wrote recently that should be out soon on like Kleros cases that involve numerical outcomes. So when you, rather than like vote for like a binary, did Alice win or Bob win, vote for like a number, you know, like what percentage of refund should Alice get? Like what percentage of a payout from an insurance policy should Bob receive? So that's basically just waiting on images. So it should be out in a couple days. So I encourage you to all read that when it comes out.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of Kleros and machine learning, have you tried asking ChatGPT if it could at some point replace Kleros? I mean, if you haven't, I mean, I suggest you try to see what ChatGPT answers. It's a pretty cool answer. Yeah. So we have that. Then I have been this week doing some research with and some writing together with Rob. Rob Edin is a very all-time community member, and he works at an arbitration company in Dubai doing basically construction arbitration. He's super expert in that, and he has some idea as how to use Kleros as a tool in the context of construction disputes. And so we have been doing some thinking together about that and how Kleros can be. As you know, Kleros is a very generic tool, could be used as an arbitrator for on-chain disputes, but also as a support tool to make some part of a broader arbitration and more traditional arbitration process. And we have been seeing how Kleros can be used for these different types of settlements and mediations in the context of construction industry. The main idea is to use Kleros to break down a big construction dispute into smaller type of more factual disputes, and where different of these disputes, I mean, one of these disputes could be in the heating system, another one could be, you know, in the roofing or whatever. So, well, I don't want to say too much because it's still a work in progress, but that's a super cool application that can have like real life implications in the context of construction disputes. And I mean, I'm doing this with Rob. I mean, I know not much about construction disputes, but he's a super expert in that, and he does this for a living for a long time. So yeah, I'm doing lots of research and writing with him on that, and we're going to publish an article and surely make a presentation, hopefully very soon. Yeah. So that's one of the other things I have for this week. We are starting a new pilot. I mean, we cannot say, I guess, the name, but I mean, it's becoming harder and harder to hide the name of this partner because, I mean, the court is already done. I will ask if they let us. So dispute resolution in the context of exchanges, disputes between consumer disputes between an exchange and customers. Yeah, so that's something that we are working like now. Just before jumping into the call, we were with Marcos discussing that and yeah, loading cases and stuff. So
maybe we can mention it for next week. What do you think? We should ask the guys of the project, of course, but maybe we can.
It's becoming impossible to hide anyway.
Yeah,
I guess we should. So yeah.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, Marcos, and maybe you have some other update to. Yeah.
Yeah, well, from the BD side, first of all, we have a new intern. He's called Ahmed. So he's from Serbia. I don't know if he's here. But, well, we have Ahmed, we have Emmet, then we have Wangmian, we have Damian. So if you are coming to work to Kleros, you have to know that you're going to deal with names that are really tricky. But then talking about our job, specifically talking about our job, there are some updates about big integrations. One is the one that Federico mentioned. The other one is about an important Web3 wallet that we can still mention, but maybe in the next weeks we are going to be able to talk more in detail about this. And then smaller updates of smaller projects. There's a new prediction market from Argentina that's going to use Kleros Oracle, and yeah, we're in conversations with some other projects.
Cool. Thank you, Marcos. Okay, well, let's go to Jim.
Hey, everyone. So, well, this last week we've been working a lot on the GIA launch, but there are still some other things that happened. For example, last week there was lots of updates in with themes from our ecosystem. I believe I posted a thread on Friday. And so it's great to see that they are creating their own social media presence and community and getting. I'm trying to help to get them to be known by their future users. Some of them are testing or will launch soon. So that's nice, and it's strange that lots of these projects are getting users at the same time. Like it's they have been working for so long, and right now they're starting to get some traction. And I see that Rodrigo is here. I don't know if he wants to talk about the spaces that Proda did last week with Connext. Yeah, and they also.
Okay, don't worry, it's fine.
Yeah, no problem. And they also are implementing a nice feature where you don't need a wallet to use the application. You just need your email, and they have like a custom contract that is deployed when you log in, which is super nice and can help adoption. And well, this last Sunday, George was part of a panel in ETH about a panel about identity. I believe that recording will be out soon. Ramian was interviewed for a podcast that was just released an hour ago. The podcast is called Bridged. Well, we are talking with a guy that does protocol reviews that are very like complete and like great content, and we are talking with him to do a deep dive on VIA. He already did one on Kleros before, so it will be very nice to have one for V2 as well, because it's something that developers can well view to get like a full understanding of the protocol and the design decisions.
Actually, we could even ask for something from the community if you guys know. So as you know, VIA is a really technical product. It's so like if you know some show or podcast that you think VIA should be featured on because of the technical nature of the audience, people who could potentially contribute to the development and that type of thing. So yeah, feel free to suggest. We have a list. Of course, we have done our research, but maybe if you listen to some technical podcast, show, YouTube, whatever, I mean, Twitter, account, feel free to share with us so we can also target that for the VIA launch and VIA reviews. Yeah, you can continue, Jim.
Yes, we want to try to get this audience that can help us build and give feedback. And yeah, I think that's it for me. Yeah.
Cool. Then it was suggested in the past that we could move community calls to Twitter Spaces to have a broader audience, which is a very sensible recommendation. We are planning something like this. I don't know if we should do this for all of the community calls. I mean, the idea this is more like for hardcore community, and if we start doing all of the calls on Twitter, maybe when we want to do actually a more an important launch or event, I mean, people will not tune in because they think it's just another, internal Kleros community stuff. But we are seeing what is the best way to do this. I mean, we want to keep the dry powder for we want to actually do some launch events. So that our plan is to do, for example, the VIA launch like as a Twitter Spaces. So yeah, we are trying to see what is the best format. Maybe once a month. Maybe I think it's really too much to do it to do this type of calls, Twitter Spaces. But we are discussing what was suggested. So just for you to know that we take these suggestions, seriously, and we are seeing what's the best way to implement. Yeah, and I think that's more or less it for this week. Am I forgetting something, Jim?
Yeah, I think so, because we have been discussing on so much lately, but well, I believe it's all that that's a lot still. Well, there's an integration that Wemian is working on that is very exciting, and probably in the next month or so we will be able to share. So yeah, that's another one, like not the one that Marco said, another one.
Yeah.
This is a small tangent, but I I wanted to ask Jamelia, but I guess she dropped off the call. But how does one learn more about what exactly is a coordination, as Primavera, I think, is advocating for this different way to spin maybe a similar but very distinct idea related to the network state? Maybe we'll see some talk from EdCon coming out later.
I mean, what's the question? What is the exact debate between Balagis and Primavera? I mean, what is the disagreement?
Or is there some resource where even they make a statement of what is the disagreement or what is the alternate formulation?
I haven't seen like a debate between them. There is one between Glenn Weil, which more or less has Primavera's view, and Balagis. There is a podcast on that. I don't remember. I mean, we can find it. But basically, I think that the Primavera's position is that the Balagis' idea of network state is a bit like too libertarian and Darwinistic view of the evolution of societies, and where winners will like maybe succeed and take all, and then it's a bit based. If you have read this book, Sovereign Individual, it's kind of based on that Silicon Valley idea of libertarianism and the winners culture, if you want. So I recommend that you watch a talk. Everything that Balagis has developed in the network state, it's kind of already announced in a talk he gave like almost 10 years ago at a Y Combinator event, I think. And the talk is called, it's very famous, it's called Silicon Valley Ultimate Exit. I do recommend you watch that, and that's kind of a summary of many of the ideas that ended up becoming the network state. So he has been working on this for a long time, and I've been following him for maybe 10 years now. So yeah, and there is this other view coming from more side of Glenn Weil and Primavera. Is more about distributed governance, more about collaboration and polycentric governance. I think that's the disagreement. It would be cool to have actually a debate between them. I will propose that to Primavera. But by the way, she was one of the guests of the podcast. This is already recorded and it's going to be released in a few weeks, maybe. So, and in that podcast, we discussed a bit about network state and her opposition to that. So, yeah, but I don't want to say more because you can listen to the podcast, of course. Well, I guess that's it for the week, guys. Well, thank you very much for coming, and see you next week. Maybe before, right? But next week, but before Wednesday, if we get to put everything together for making the launch very soon. Okay, see you guys. Bye-bye.
See you. Bye, everyone.
See you guys.